Yo, what up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 325. And Achira Oda never ceases to amaze me. And what I liked about this chapter is we're kind of seeing a little bit of Nami bring some of her skills to the forefront. You know, looking back on it, I probably should have figured this is where it was going when we had Luffy, basically, showing out the money or whatnot, like not really hiding the fact that he's got all this gold. And, I said before, I believe it was the Godfather quote and the Biggie Smalls quote. I said, hey man, you're not really supposed to flaunt what you got. Well, in this chapter, one of the things that we see is Nami and Luffy and Usopp, they're doing like the negotiation for getting all their gold swapped out, right? And they get offered 100 million berries. I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty generous, right? I mean, obviously, me being the reader, I don't know how much that stuff is worth. So I'm thinking, damn, that's pretty spot on. I would think that's worth 100 million berries. And looking back on it, it makes a lot of sense. Basically, they're dealing with a pawnbroker. I don't know if any of you guys have had to, deal with, going into pawn shops and stuff. I've got a little bit of experience, not too much. I picked up the experience because that's what my uncle used to do all the time when I lived with them down in Jacksonville. So I would go down there and I would watch them haggle and negotiate or whatnot. And that's what Nami does. Nami's like, wow, 100 million berries. And Luffy and Usopp are about to take it. And that's the guy's first offer, right? Nami, like a boss, just slams her legs down on the desk, folds them, and she says, look, if you lie to me again, I'm going to scalp you. You see this dude over here, this doofus? He's worth 100 million berries. Now, I know that this is worth more than 100 million. And that's when they start going through and they do a negotiation. And Nami gets them 3 times as much. And for the guy to even give them 3 times as much, Nami's probably pretty damn, I wouldn't say influential. I would say convincing. Couldn't think of the right word there for a moment. But I would say Nami's pretty convincing. But chances are the guy still made a profit off of whatever it is that he got that for. And, Nami points out this is a lot of historical artifacts as well as just different trinkets and everything worth a lot. So they get 3 briefcases of 100 million apiece. And I like that one scene where Luffy shouts out the total amount, as they're negotiating, and you have all the people listening. And that's what I was talking about in the last video, man. Like when you start flaunting like that, you make yourself a target. And as we've seen with Nico, Robin, and Chopper's adventures, you got to kind of watch it because you never know who you're going to run into. And I'm going to get on that in a second. But what I really liked is how after they get the berries, they're walking out and Luffy's like, man, you're right, Nami, that could have went sideways. And he has the briefcase and he just chucks it not into the water, but towards the water. Nami and Usopp, they got tears streaming down their eyes. They're jumping after. I mean, for good reason. Like Luffy essentially did what a lot of these dumbasses do when they start trying to flaunt on Instagram and Snapchat. That's basically what he did. He just threw his shit away, or he did something to destroy the money, make it seem like, he was, big ball. And not Luffy saying that, just saying like the people. So Luffy, stretches out and grabs it, and for a moment I thought Luffy was just trolling, because that just seems like a Luffy thing to do, to say, you guys don't trust me with the money? Ha, wait, I can get it back. I thought Luffy was just trolling. I'm glad that wasn't the case. But one thing that I like about all that after the fact is Nami and Usopp tell them, that's it, you're not holding it anymore. And they're going towards Mr. Iceberg's place, right? And that's when we find out that Iceberg is the mayor of Water 7, but he's also very influential, and a lot of people know his names. And that's, I believe the guy's name's Kaku. Basically this dude is a freak of fucking nature. Okay, he says, I'll be back in 10 minutes with an appraisal of your ship. You guys have the letter of recommendation. Everything's going to be smooth. This will make the negotiations go smooth. And I like that one scene where Luffy's like, Usopp, look at his nose. And I'm like, dude, like, you're going to ask Usopp to look at somebody's nose. Like, it's a nice little running gag, man. This was really good. The chapter ends off with us, kind of getting that revelation that this was their actual carpenter, as far as not Luffy's carpenter, but Iceberg and them. So that was cool to kind of see that. Now, the other 2 things in this chapter, you got 2 subplots going on, okay? You have what Oda is continuing with the whole Nico Robin thing. You have Robin, nice design, by the way, a little sexualized, but it is what it is. I fucking read fairy tale, and I mean I read and watched Dragon Ball, so it's just like I'm used to sexualized females. So seeing that, cool, pretty cool ass design. Now the other thing about all that is Robin's walking and she's with Chopper, and like I said, she's kind of on her own. Even when she's walking with Chopper, there's some distance. You know, it doesn't seem like it's two people who are I wouldn't say intimate because that's the wrong word for this, but have the type of relationship that they should have. You know, they're on the same crew. So to see that, to see more space, and then there's the panel where Chopper just rushes towards the bookstore, and I know why Oda does it. You know, on face value, it's mainly so you can see Robin with that strange person who walks by and says, "I'm with CP9," and Robin just has this huge shocked look on her face, and that person kind of walks off, and not Nami, Robin just looks completely devastated, but also, you know, to give you space, because again, it's just further showing space. There's something going on with Robin that she's hiding, and that's where you needed like the space from one of the crew members. So that was cool to see. That was like a little, that's what I mean, it's little small stuff Oda does where even when you look at it from face value, he's earned enough, not earned, but he's warranted enough respect as a reader for you to look at every little small thing and kind of question things like panel placement or the way things are presented in the room, like just little small stuff. So that was cool. That part was really cool to see. Now another thing I really liked is we see a little bit of character development with Nico Robin, and it's not so much in like her character's being fleshed out in the now, but we're learning more about who she was and how she could survive for so long, because Robin tells Chopper, like, yeah, you know, there's this festival getting ready to go on. That's why people are wearing masks. And Chopper's like, my God, I thought those were their faces. And I'm like, Chopper, what the fuck? I'm not going to say it's because he's high. I'm not going to say it for that reason. I've told you guys before, Chopper's just there to, you know, again, to add another perspective. It's almost like having a toddler that's able to speak and is soaking everything in. You know, that's what it's like for me to read Chopper, and I feel like that's how Oda wrote him. So you take that with it, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, do you really see people as being that hideous looking? Like, what the fuck, man? So that was cool. Little small things, and I like that, but I like how it really tells you how Robin was able to survive so long being with all these different organizations, which, as we know, they all fell apart. They all fell apart. So we know that there's some type of threat there. Maybe that's foreshadowing for what's going on with Luffy, or it could be something like when Luffy was on the scaffold about to be executed, and then lightning strikes, and all of a sudden it's just like, maybe that's breaking the cycle. Maybe Robin being with Luffy is breaking the cycle. You know, at a certain point that happens in shonens, that is a trope. So you kind of got to look and see where Oda's going to take that. You know, that is a shonen trope. But see, the other thing, like I said, it really shows us for how Robin survived so long, and it really feels like to me that once whatever the hell's going on, once that happens, we're really going to see Robin being used more so to gather intelligence. I really feel like that's the way she's going to be used. Sorry, guys. Now, this last thing, I want to talk about Zoro, because Zoro, he's being attacked. Bounty hunters. And what I thought was interesting about that is with the bounty hunters, we might see something where Zoro meets Johnny and Yasuko, because they left, I believe, at the end of Arlong Park, right before the crew was being assembled. They are bounty hunters. There is like some relationships there. The reason I'm bringing this up is because they're close to the Navy, okay? And Kobe is with the Navy, okay? Like, Kobe's there, and if I'm not mistaken, Kobe was doing some type of training near the headquarters. So, I mean, it's really feeling like we're going to have either Kobe return, which would be fitting because, again, it's been a while since we've actually seen Kobe in the actual manga and not the cover stories. And I know about Godatsu's cover stories. I know in this one, looks like he struck on or something. I'm just waiting to get some more information on that before I even talk about it. But we hadn't really seen Kobe, and it's been a while. It's been a couple hundred chapters since we've seen Johnny and Yasuko. So I feel like with Zoro and Luffy both having huge bounties and them being so close to headquarters, and now we have bounty hunters, all of them swordsmen being introduced. One of those two is going to show up, and we're really going to get it reinforced in our head that Luffy and the Straw Hats, for as lovable as they are, they're still pirates. They're being hunted. There's a price on their head. And at some point, lines have to be drawn. Friendships have to be tested. And that's going to be very beautiful. I can't wait to see how Oda executes that. That's going to be something I really have my eye on. Now, in closing, my chapter question for you all is, what did you think about Zoro just one-shotting all those guys that were trying to hunt him down? Because that was a very quick fight, and I feel like Oda did that to show that there is a bigger threat coming on. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Thank you for watching Kryptonian Saying, guys. Have an awesome day.